Hello, wrestling fans. Blake Smith from Walking the Ropes, and welcome to another episode of Walking the Ropes Wrestling Review for AEW Rampage from Columbia, South Carolina. To open the show, we had the Young Bucks versus Top Flight. This is an exciting one. It's a rematch from, I believe it's Top Flight's debut, and I believe the Bucks came out on top. Nick and Dante waste no time showing off, as they are two of the top high flyers on their teams. Top Flight is so similar to the Young Bucks that these matches are always so amazing to watch because you never know where these four guys will go and what they're going to do. The action's non-stop from bell to bell as Top Flight start to roll with their crazy high-flying offense. The Bucks use their heel antics to get the edge and start to wear down their Darius, but Dante comes in and changes all that quickly and looks like Top Flight are going to make this a 1-1 series. But the Bucks show their veteran experience and isolate Darius after taking out Dante and hit the BTE trigger for the win. This was a great match. For my WTR scale, I gave this a great. This showed off Top Flight so well. Yeah, they lost, but in this match, they did not feel like losers. They held the majority of it. It's just the Bucks had that veteran experience. It was very well done. We then get a recap of Chris Statlander and Leila Hirsch, and then we get a face on of Statlander. She has new face paint, it's all black, and she says, "Welcome to the other side of Chris Statlander." This is interesting and it intrigues me because I want to see Statlander more and I want to see her progress further. So for my WTR scale, I gave this a good. It was just because I'm excited to see where this is going, while this did feel a little weird. We then get the Men of the Year and American Top Team in the ring, and Dan hints at getting disappointed about Cody and Brandy leaving because he had stripper jokes lined up like crazy, apparently. But now he has to deal with Ty and Sammy, and he says that the entire team and himself are disgusted with the fact that they took nude pictures with the TNT title. Sammy appears on the screen, and he has a sledgehammer, and he's by Dan Lambert's car, and he's responding to the fact that Dan said that they're never going to get a TNT title shot. And he says, well, maybe this will change your mind. They destroy Dan Lambert's BMW, and they spray paint "Be Mad" on the hood. For my WTR scale, I gave this a great. I loved this. I love when wrestling does something with a car where they destroy it, whatever. It feels so cool. I love it. We then get Tony Schiavone talking with Hook, but before that, before he can even speak, which, surprise, surprise, Danhausen interrupts him, and is annoyed Hook didn't get cursed and tries it again, but nothing happens. For my WTR scale, I gave this a meh, because, I mean, we know Hook doesn't really talk, so the fact that they set up this interview, there was going to be something that happened, it just didn't feel important. We then get a trios tag match, House of Black versus Fuego del Sol and Dark Order's Evil Uno and Stu Grayson. Fuego and the Dark Order are going to try and do what no one else can and best these men. I guess you can call them men. Since the House of Black has expanded, it has been nothing but carnage in their path, and this match looks like it'll be no different. Stu and Matthew start out very strong as they're showing off, but Fuego then tags himself in and it throws off Stu. He was going to tag in Uno, and Fuego tagged himself in. This allows Matthews to dump Stu out and Uno as well, and then they they spike Fuego into the corner and tag in Brody King. Sorry. Who tosses Fuego out of the ring. The House of Black is firmly in control on the outside, and finally the Dark Order get the tag back in, and they seem to change the tide, but only for a moment because Big Brody King comes out and hits Fuego, and Fuego tries to get something going, but with his best shot, he flies into the spinning heel kick from Malachi Black, and that gets the win. The House of Black is also awarded the Chris Jericho Sports Entertainer of the Week. For my WTR scale, I gave this a good. This was very well done. The Jericho thing is interesting. All of it. there could have been more to it, especially because we had Fuego just kind of like, are we turning Fuego heel or is something going on? I don't know. Just didn't feel like there was a reason for Fuego to do what he did. We then get the Bucks talking about all their title reigns and whatever, and Brandon keeps telling them, you missed this one and that one. They say the one thing FTR have never done is beat the Bucks, and on Dynamite, they're gonna show that they can't. For my WTR scale, I gave this a good. I would have given this a great because it felt really awesome, but I think it would have felt better had they have done this just right after their match or something like that. I don't think it would have taken away from Top Flight at all. I just, yeah, I feel like they could have just done this right after their match, but it is what it is. We then get a Owen Hart women's qualifier tournament. Jamie Hayter versus Sky Blue. This is a great opportunity for both women who, in all honesty, have been on highs and lows. So a win here will be huge for both, but Hayter controls most of the start of this match, and Blue comes back and stuns Hayter and looks like she may have it won, but Jamie overpowers Blue and drops her on her head, and then reverses Blue in the corner and hits a superplex, followed by a brainbuster and a ripcord lariat, and she gets the win. This was a relatively quick match, but I feel like that's just because some of these qualifiers are going to be that. We're just setting up certain people to be in this, and it doesn't take away from Sky. She did very well. For my WTR scale, I give this a good. This was just a little too quick, I think. We then get Penta calling out the House of Black once again and tells them to not forget about the Death Triangle because they are watching. This just kind of feels like what they did last week, and it just didn't feel very important. If they had done this as the House of Black was celebrating, like in their win or whatever, that would have worked a bit better as well. For my WTR scale, I gave this a meh because this just felt like a repeat, unfortunately. Mark Henry then talks with the main event competitors, and Hobbs cuts him off and tells Lee he will hit him with the spinebuster and then he must bask in defeat before he can bask in glory. Lee says he will Powerhouse Hobbs, needs to check himself, and when in the ring tonight, be prepared to bask in his glory because he will teach him respect for those that came before. For my WTR scale, I gave this a good. This felt really nice. It felt like one of the better kind of interviews for one of the main events for Rampage. I really like that they do this for Rampage as well. It's very fun. But yeah, now we get our main event, Powerhouse Hobbs versus Keith Lee. This is going to be a battle of the Titans, as Lee and Hobbs are two of the biggest and most powerful performers in AEW. Hobbs has already hit a spinebuster on Lee last week and knocked him down, which is saying something. Lee looks like he isn't going to let that happen again, and these two behemoths just start pushing their weight around, and Lee pushes Hobbs right outside of the ring. On the outside, Lee and Hobbs are brawling, and Hobbs sends Lee crashing through the barricade. Hobbs then answers with a power slam and sets up in the corner, but Lee moves and tosses Hobbs and then hits a headbutt, which causes Ricky Starks to run down to the ring with a chair. Lee punches it right out of his hand as Swerve Strickland then brawls with Ricky on the outside, and this causes the ref to come out, which allows Hobbs, he hits a spinebuster and gets the pin, but the ref isn't paying attention. And Lee then, when the ref comes back in the ring, Lee hits a huge slam and gets the win, and after the match, the beatdown continues, and Swerve is sent through the table with Rochambeau by Ricky Starks. In the ring, Team Taz then sets up a table in the corner, and it looks like Lee's going to overpower them, but Hobbs hits a shoulder block, sending Lee flying through the table, and we go off the air. For my WTR scale, I gave this a great. This felt really cool, felt more important than what they were doing last week. And overall, this match really did set up Hobbs well, and Lee just looked awesome. This match was really great. For my overall for this show, I gave it a good. They didn't do horrible, they didn't do bad. It didn't feel like it was awestruck, made me awestruck or awesome or whatever. I don't know. It was a very good show, though. The segment of the night goes to the Young Bucks responding to FDR because I was wanting them to respond, and it wasn't a bad response. I feel like it was a little out of place. The match of the night is the Bucks versus Top Flight, and my performer of the night goes to Top Flight. They just showed off so well. But that is all for this episode of Walking the Ropes Wrestling Review. Thank you all for dropping in. If you enjoyed, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to get notifications whenever we upload a video. And I'll see you in the next one.